Oh, my mic's off. And my desktop audio. There we go. My settings weren't right. And I probably don't need my mic that loud. Probably like here. I think that's good. And I need to upsize a little bit. That looks like perfect. Okay. Now the game screen share, man. I'm such a good prepper. I have all this time before. And hopefully it just scales right. It did. Nice. Okay. Do I just do Leon's first? I've never played Resident Evil. I just know he's the one that everyone wants to fuck. That's all I know. Like... Well, that's really sensitive, wow. Can I... Okay, I can. I don't even know what 3D audio means. We don't need it. But I think I just do the Leon Kennedy, I guess? I don't really know for the options. Hi, Ross. I guess I just choose Leon Kennedy. Yeah. Just do it in order. I'm kinda stalling, aren't I? Oh well. Do standard. Because I've never played one. A Resident Evil game.
Look, man, I'm serious, okay? I saw this with my own eyes. Oh, I believe you, buddy. I believe you. Just tell us a story.
Oh shit, 1 second, sorry. Yeah, me Resident Evil too.
Tell us a story. Okay, well, it was last Friday night. I was walking home from the bar, and this woman started coming towards me. She was
It's
standing
gonna
there.
be pain.
I figured she was drunk. Whoa. Okay, tell us, be honest now. How many drinks did you have? No, man, I barely had a buzz on. Oh, come on. Look, just listen, all right? She got closer, and I got a good look at her. You had to see her eyes, her nose, her whole face. It looked like it was
It's going to be quick.
She looked like a corpse. Like a walking corpse, man.
Sounds like my wife.
I've never seen anything like it.
The residents are evil.
Calm down, buddy. Calm down. Just, hey, you gotta stay strong, okay? Don't give in to fear.
I assume we're in Raccoon City? That's the only Resident Evil thing I know is Raccoon City. And Umbrella Corp or whatever.
Come on. Just getting good.
He's gonna crash. He's gonna crash, isn't he?
I need some sleep. Oh, shit.
Oh. Oh. That's, that was pretty quick. Here's stuff. Oh, but this is one of the zombies. Bro, just get back in your semi, drive away. Drive away. Just drive away. I am the duckhoid. Quack. Bro, just drive away. Is this Leon Kennedy? Him? I am doing mouse and keyboard, by the way, I decided. We'll see how bad it is. Congrats! Let me pause and deal with this. Congrats! You finally got it. Next message or refresh. Oh. Okay. And boy gore. Dingo red cigarettes. When life has you seeing red, enjoy the wild taste of dingo red cigarettes. Get wild. Now 3 VIPs. Well, I'm assuming it wants me to go towards the door. Hi, Shiva. I'm assuming. I assume there's gonna be a zombie in here or something.
Hello? Anybody there?
I mean, I'm just guessing. You will like in solidarity a scary zombie game, don't I? Thank you. He's got a hankering for gas station sushi and boner pills. Oh no. Doesn't sound right, guys.
You alright? Don't move. I'll be back for you.
Stop moving.
Officer, you need help?
Stay back, sir. I got this.
Oh, he got confused. Oh. 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 Well, he needed some gas station food. We have our gun, right?
I'll shoot!
Okay. That's not good. Liana so baby girl.
Hey, what are you doing?
Okay. We have to go that way. Or this way. Can't open it that way. Thank you for the follow, Gunpie. Hi, hi. Oh, cute. Oh, what? There you go. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, I have a key. Did that die? Okay, he did. Oh, he didn't! He didn't! Oh. Oh, okay. Oh. Huh?
You alright?
But there was one behind me.
You can thank me later, when we're safe.
It's a lot of them. Oh.
Come on!
Okay, they're running.
Get in!
She's brave.
Hold on.
Oh, no, there was the other one that was pushing over or something. Oh, he's gaming. Okay, I get why he's hot now. I understand.
I don't know. Hopefully they'll have some answers at the police station.
Wait, you're a cop?
Yeah. Leon Kennedy. You are?
Clear. Clear Redfield.
All clicking in the place. Do I think she has a license to carry? No.
Looking for my brother. He's a cop too.
Well, it's a good thing we found each other. I don't know what to expect.
I assume doing his story first was right, because I just got to pick between stories. And the only things I know about Resident Evil are Leon Kennedy, Ada Wong, the one girl from Resident Evil 4 who yells Leon all the time, Raccoon City, and Umbrella Corps. That's all I know. And the tall lady. I had game kinda quiet. Let me up it. Sorry, that was my old audio. I did change it recently. That should be better. Pretty intro. I'm gonna let it play. Give me $10 worth. Sorry, that was my straw. Does this Resident Evil have the, like, ones with, like, the open brain head and the tongue? That's Resident Evil, right?
Free food and medical supplies will be provided to everyone in need.
God, this is.
I've seen those around online.
Police station's not much farther. They'll know something.
Yeah, but what if we're the only ones? What if there's no
No,
survivors?
there's survivors. It's a big city. There has to be.
Kinda crazy, but not even questioning what's going on too much. Like, they're not questioning seeing zombies, they're just kinda like, it's happening.
Looks like we're walking from here.
More like running.
Yeah, good call.
Oh.
Leon,
Oh.
you gotta back up.
Oh.
What the?
The semi driver.
There, get out. Get out now! Hold on!
Oh. Oh no, that's oil. Oh no. Well, that's the gasoline. Still bad. Oh, there it goes. She got out, right? Where's the girl?
Claire! Claire, are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, she's alive.
How about you?
Can't stay here, it's not safe.
Go on ahead. I'll meet you at the station.
I'll be there. This is out of control.
Okay. Well, where's the head? Right here. That's for sure. Maybe this way.
Shit. It's everybody.
Okay. Navigating the city.
There it is. The station.
Oh, I can't move there. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good, okay. It's okay. That's not good. Okay, so if I don't go there, is there another way? Unless I just go open the gates to shoot them open. Maybe I shoot them open. I'm probably supposed to shoot open the gates, huh? Probably supposed to shoot open the gates. I don't have pistol ammo now. So I guess I'm gonna juke them, hopefully. But I might be fucked. Maybe if I'm lucky. Yeah, I think I just fucked out. I think I just die. Because I don't have ammo. I was supposed to just run up and open it. Okay, I'm not very smart. I am not smart, but we made it. But really fucked up. Auto in somehow? Yeah.
Hello? Is anybody
Hey, handgun ammo.
here?
RPD computer. Yeah, you can see the bite mark in his neck.
There has to be someone here. Not good.
David, Marvin, you there? I found a way out. It's in here.
Got ammo.
Send reinforcements. East, turn away.
I gotta find that guy.
We're gonna save. East hallway. Oh, I know this map from Dead by Daylight a little bit. Watching someone play Dead by Daylight is the only reason I kind of recognize a little bit of this map. Looking at the visual. Yeah, it's a puzzle thing. That's another puzzle thing. Anything over here? No. Can I open this door? No. That's to open that up. I'm gonna get bit. Oh, there's something in here, Leon. Oh, no, 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 no. I need a breaker. Okay. What's happening? Something's moving.
You got this.
What does this do? Do we have light in here? This room's safe for now. That's good. Okay, let me move that.
Jesus.
Open up! Hurry! Open up! Open this goddamn door!
I'll get you out!
Aw.
Please!
Give me your hand.
Help me!
I got you. Give me your other hand.
Oh. Oh. I think he's not coming with us. Close the door, close the door, close the door, close the door. Leon. Leon. Medallion. We need the 3 things to find the way out. Got a statue. And there's one of 3 different statues. A lion, a lady, and a horse. Okay, okay, okay.
Jesus! They're everywhere!
Okay.
Shit!
That wasn't the way I wanted to go. Hi, sorry. Hi, hi. Put this here. Ammo. This takes me back here, but that's not what I need right now. I use more ammo than I'd like to. Okay, first aid spray. That's good. Oh my god. I don't remember where to go. Come on. Okay. Close it? Oh no. Okay, he got pulled. We have a friend. Friend?
You're safe
Dying cop.
for now.
Thanks.
Marvin Brown.
Leon Kennedy. There was another off strike. I couldn't...
I mean, 3 medallions we know now.
Yeah.
And they're in the statues. We have the lion statue, the lady, and the horse. It looked like they were in the
Sure
badges.
you did what you could, Leon.
Because that's what the journal is saying. He talked about having the way out.
Not a clue. But honestly, all you need to know is that this place will eat you alive if you aren't careful.
Yeah, well, I was supposed to start last week, and I got a call to stay away. I wish I'd come here sooner.
You're here now, Leon. That's all that matters.
Okay, Lieutenant? I'm ready.
Hopefully you'll be able to find a way out of this station. That officer you met earlier, Elliot. He thought this secret passageway might do the trick.
Yeah, the 3 statues.
This is good news. We can get you to a hospital.
No, I am not the priority here.
Lieutenant, I'm not just gonna leave you here.
I'm giving you an order, rookie. You save yourself first.
Okay.
I come with you, but I just slow you down. Now, you'll need this.
I can't take him.
Stop. And don't make my mistake. If you see one of those things, uniform or not, you do not hesitate.
I wasn't going to.
You take it out. Or you run. Got it?
Yes, sir.
What did he give me? Am I stupid for not knowing what that is? Oh, a knife! Oh. Well, first we'll save. And then we're gonna first aid spray. What's first aid spray? And then let's save. Now we have a knife attack. I'm looking at our notes. Do I have me making use of the map? Okay. So, all of this tells me the symbols for each of them, and there's one in here, right? Find the medallions. For the lion, we want lion, plant, bird. Nice. One medallion down. And that goes. Doesn't know the order, but and the horse. Maybe I wonder if does it tell me where they're at? I mean, the goddess statue's here. Parking lot's the way out. But where are the other statues? I don't think they're in here where we're safe. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to go to them. Did he say anything to me? No. Can I put this here now for safekeeping? Oh! So it just slowly unveils it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the passage isn't open yet.
Well, we saw the goddess statue. There's a taped box. Oh, it tells me the stuff is I missed. That's helpful. The taped box. We can cut the tape now to open that. I don't know if I would have done that immediately, Leon.
This is not how I imagined my first day.
I don't think I would have done that immediately, but you do you, boo. Let's save. It didn't look new here. More ammo. There's herb, which I think you used to make stuff, if I remember. A little bit of Resident Evil I've watched. Herb good. What is that over here? The fuse box. So there wasn't a statue over this way. For sure. So let's go, I guess, through here and our little explorable thing. Okay. One of the helicopters fell. Is this a zombie? It's alive. This is a zombie. It's alive. This is a zombie. It's alive. No, okay. He is dead.
What?
Oh boy. Okay. Okay. We boarded that. For now. Don't have anything to break this. Record of events. Okay, that's information. You need that later. Okay. Oh my god, my knife. That bitch. A knife indeed. Hey, you? Okay, I'm still full of ammo. Fine. Can't craft yet with the herb. So the operations room has had a map in there. I didn't see that. Back we go. I'm playing very scared. Sorry. That's still closed, sadly. Okay, it didn't work how I wanted. I thought I meleeed right.
You bastard.
My knife back. That's not good. Can't shoot it. And I don't have anything to break it. Does there something in here, though? Oh, the map. Oh, hell no. Okay, oh, we're not crawling in vents.
I can do this.
Okay. We did that. Safety deposit room's coming up. Oh, I'm missing keys. Okay, and you need a badge to get into that to get the shotgun. I stabbed, come on. I just want my shots to be lethal, man. We're still fine. Can we do any of these over here? Because we're missing 2 and... Okay, there's more coming. Oh, he's not dead. Yeah, the weapons locker. Okay, second floor. Beam vault bad. Don't have the combination. Shotgun shells, can't use it yet. Okay. Double save. Oh. It's some sort of thing to... There's a combo to it. I don't want to do this right here. Valve and dialogue. We're out of ammo. We're out of ammo. We're out of ammo, we're out of ammo, we're out of ammo, we're out of ammo. Oh, Leon Sex Kennedy. Oh, Leon Sex Kennedy. We're out of ammo. Okay, we have 3 shots. Okay, recipes, that's cool. Gunpowder. Where do we go? Where do we go? There we go. Am I safe in this dark room? Or can zombies still come in here? Like, is there any safety rooms? Hi, Zagudo. Hi. Like, is this a safety area? Because I want to try to do this lock thing, but... Nothing is safe, not even the menu. Kappa. Press the button to light up its corresponding lamp. Light them all, open the save. This button must be pressed a certain order. Pressing a certain button out of order causes all the lights to go out and you need to use it again. Okay. Let's try this. Okay. How do I know which one I want? So if this is for... I don't know which ones I want. How do I know the order? Is there a way of thinking of it? I'm not thinking of it. Because I'm not sure which is which. Like, these aren't right. Yeah, that one's that one. That one's... Oh, it's showing me which one's which, so... This is confusing me. I hate this thing. Mainly just because it's... How do I... I hate puzzle makers. They should be bathed in fire. I just... There's no, like, the... I was wrong. Yeah, so this one's this. So... That's over there. So would that be that? No. Like, I don't even know how I'm getting 2 to 3 here. Because, like, to me, these 8... I get that there's 8 things here, but I don't know how to correspond it to the circular order. I feel stupid. Try that one. Try that one. That one doesn't work. Try that one. That one worked. Because I just have no idea of the actual functionality. Maybe I need a notepad. Let me get my notes. I'm gonna try and figure this out even though I don't think this makes sense. I don't even know if anything useful is in here. But this is the most important thing to me right now because I'm being played by the puzzle. Okay, top left. That is... I'm drawing a diagram for myself. And I'm gonna figure this out. So if that brings me 2, do I do this? No. 1, 2, 3, no. So that is that one. So I'm trying to like figure this out because this is really screwing my brain. Okay, I get to ban a bot. Goodbye. I just don't get... the ordering of this. Let me read the instructions again. Press the button to light up its corresponding lamp. Light the mode to open the safe. The buttons must be pressed in a certain order. Pressing a single button out of order... yeah, it's like Simon says, basically. But... which one is which? Premium Sheep Librarian at sheeppicks.com. Make sure to get yours today. Okay, hold. Okay. No. Not quite. Okay. Wrong. I'm starting to get a slight idea watching it. If I mess up, it'll take me back here. And I think that's not that one. But for this one, I think... like, I saw a glimmer of hope. I want to reset it to where I like it, though. I think is... yes. I know this one's the one right before this. Because I know top left is the one right behind where we started. That's all I know right now. Top left is the one behind where we started. Have I tried bottom left? I don't think that'd be it. Maybe here. This goes. Here. Here. Okay. We're 3 out of 8. But I don't know which one's next. Like, because we kind of did this, I think, so I want to go here. But that's not right. Oh. I did that wrong. I know. I should have known which one that was. I'm getting that one. I think this is the one I wanted earlier. Did you go here? No, you're supposed to go here. Takes you here. That takes you there. Okay. We're starting to come up with a pattern. Which ones have I pressed? We pressed... I think we pressed these 4. No, we've pressed this one. Oh, shit. So this one's here. And this one's here. Means if we go back... isn't that... every time I start to think I understand. This one's here. This one's here. This one's here. So... I get it back to here, and I go here, and I go here. Which one? I'm looking for that one. That one's there, that one's there. So if we start back up here, we need this. Which one? Am I looking for this one? I should have written this down. I did not think before I puzzled. Okay. Hold. Write it down now. My brain's finally cooking. Okay. Next should be this. Okay. Means next should be this. Wait, no. Okay. Which means next is this, I think. Okay. My diagram is so messy. We are mapping this out. Okay, so I'm gonna go here. No. So it's this and then this. There. Goes like bam, 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 let's kind of reset. So we're here. No, it's this one. Keep messing this up. Let's reset. Here. This. Do this. Top row's done. Use top row. Why is this taking me so long? Fourth one is this one. The next one, this one. And then go to this one. I had the wrong diagram. Okay. Having the wrong diagram just sucked because I felt so like smart. I felt like I was getting it. So top. And then our next one is isn't it this? This, so we did top left first. We do top left again. And then to get to top right, we do Oh no, the whole understanding zone. Okay, let's figure this out. I have an idea. Okay. 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 The next one should be this one. Okay. And now the next one. These are the two I didn't diagram out. Wait, yeah, these are the two I didn't diagram out. These two. Oh, it blacks them out when I click it. I am really stupid. Fine. Done those three. Now we're at this one. Which... Okay, that one is right. We finally did it. Holy shit, that took us like 20 minutes. Oh, it's one of the things for the safe room. But it's an empty keypad. We're down the one shot. Pink herb. Oh, red herb, okay. Mixed herb, I knew about that. Hmm. So there is more gunpowder in the safety deposit room, and there's the weapons locker. When I get back in it, we go around here. I think. We have 2 heals on, so we just have 1 bullet, which stinks, but... Thank you for the head pats and cheek squish. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know if we're gonna be using the key more. Because we used it for the gas station, but... Does this checkmark mean I'm... Well, it means it says... I guess it must mean it's a key item. How much can 1 key open? Oh my god. Thank the Lord. Oh, gunpowder. Wait. I learned this. Gunpowder plus gunpowder. This game is the cool suitcase inventory like Resident Evil 4. we did that. We haven't seen another statue yet, which stinks. We've seen the different doors. I should look at the map. Oh, this is our map put up. Okay, so we're gonna go in there, I guess. And this is telling me, oh, it's for different herbs. I already saved. Okay. Can I not close the door behind me? It did close. Just try combos and see what's all here. Okay. Might as well try them all. Not gonna go look. We're just gonna try every combo. Okay, you hear a lot of errors. Okay. We still need another one of these, which is probably in the other safe. Well, if you guys enjoy the keyboard ASMR, and the ambience. We're not strategic, we try all the combos. In case. Okay, we opened up everything we could. Get the loot. Roll a film. Combine. We're still missing 203 for an RPD bag. And 103 probably. Probably in the West office.
Son of a bitch.
Thank you for the like. A safe, okay. And that's the club door to the main hall. Rookie's first assignment. You wish to unlock the desk. The key to your success is in the initials of our first names and put the letters in order of our desks. There are 2 locks. One on each side of your desk. Make sure you get them both. Come on, dude, I'm trying to do a puzzle. Marvin Brannick. I need to read. That's what it does. And put the lockers in order of our desks. There are 2 locks, 1 on each side. But what's the order? So would it be L, D, M? That doesn't work. Or is it D, M, L? Doesn't work either. Okay, what about M? There's one that has B and F. And I don't think that works. David Ford. Marvin B. And it's, but which, I mean, D, Leon, David, Leon, Marvin, I would think DLM. Right? This must be the last name one. So FKB? Doesn't work either. So do I do Kennedy or Leon? So Leon, David, and then Marvin. Doesn't work. So if I do Kennedy, Word, and then the B, that doesn't work either. Then what's the order? Me too, Leon. I'm just as confused. This is the only one with L and K, which means we go first. I mean, I guess we could try L, M, D? Is that doable? No. No. It's like I can just do like Leon F. Kennedy or something. What about this one? Or is it just based on each of them? Marvin Brannick. This is just confusing to me all at once. That's what's like confusing me with these types of puzzles. Let's see, we have LKPO, which is gonna be. I mean, it's David, but like, there's no one else here, right? Oh, there is others. Oh. So, probably last names, so Kennedy, Ford, and Edward. Maybe. This is an I'm wondering. For real. Okay. Okay, so let's see. N, E. Oh, they all have one. I'm just stupid. NED. Ned. Can I spell out the word Ned? I am really stupid. I only saw one visible one on each one. R. G? For real, he is too. My capacity mag. Nice. That's what I would do in this situation, is just shoot the damn lock at that point. We got that. That's good. There's still this safe. The input of it is safe anywhere. Bridge locker, terminal memo, medicinal, uses a gunpowder operation report. Watch out, looping killer in Maine, heading your way. Probably, yeah. But it's one number. Right? Or is this working like an actual locker combination? I wonder how they programmed it. Probably best for streaming's sake to not just sit there and mash everyone. So, did everything we could in the locker rooms. I guess we go back to main hall and maybe we go that way if we can. We could try that. See if we can get back to main hall. Alright, we can't go back over. And I guess we go up? Well... yeah.
Shit.
Yes, Leon, I agree.
Fuck.
Pretty searched here. There's the valve in the dialogue. I don't know whose that is. So I guess we go back up. do have a zombie coming towards us. Nice. Okay, a key. Oh boy. I didn't drop stuff. It sucks. It's fine, full HP. Yes. Probably more important. I have 24 shots. Sorry. Where the fuck? What the fuck was that? What was that? Yeah, I have some stuff in the deposit box right now. I didn't think to put the key in there. What the fuck? Powder. We have boards there. Talking about detonating C4. Hip pouch. Awesome. More storage. Combine. We still have the boards to pick up. And we have that over here. I probably hit the map a lot. It's just how I play, though.
Leon, it's Marvin. I need you back here ASAP.
Are you okay, Marvin?
I've got something to show you. It's important.
Copy that. I'll be right there.
And I'll shoot C4. But you did as well? Okay. I don't have anything to set this off or take it. I can't make that fall on them. Damn. Mr. Angry Zombie. Are you gonna cry? He's crying. Okay, he is literally just tracked on to me right now. I think I should get down here and explore. I missed a shot, that's not good. Okay. Red book. I'm on standard difficulty. Okay, made it back. Pneumatic. I can drink some water.
There you are. Come here. Take a look.
Yes. I knew she'd make it.
You know her?
Yeah. Name's Claire. I came into town with her.
You can get to that courtyard. Through the second floor. East side.
I'm on it. Thanks, Lieutenant.
Okay, I'm gonna save. Right here. I am a saver to the end. I will use as many saves as I get. I'm going to use the restroom. Really quick. He does have golden retriever energy. He's really cute. I'm gonna be right back. Don't leave while I'm gone. I'm gonna be like 2 minutes. Tops. Don't drown, I'll try. Hi. Hi. I thought about something in the bathroom. It's kind of embarrassing. So I realized I know the main characters of this game. But not for normal reasons. Thanks for the love. But not for normal reasons. I I might know them for ulterior reasons. Leon, you have to continue the red. Well, I know about Leon and them all because I read a fanfic years ago. The second floor to the east, he said, so we can go back up to the second floor. The room you're in. If I'm mistaken. I still wonder what that big thing we saw outside was. We got everything out of the ground floor down there.
Just great.
You can move that later. Got it. That means I can't get over there probably for a bit. Which... So the second floor is where we were. And this floor. A horse. Medallion number 2. Foot in half, scorpion pot. Autumn, stop losing tracking, I'm gonna kick you. Oh, my inventory is full. Not again. Hearing some sort of movement. Oh, there's a combat knife pack over here. We don't have room. We're lacking a room for everything. Means I really need to get back. But I want to take this now. That's locked. And there's gunpowder here, which I can't use right now. Do you really need to make our way back to that safe room? Okay, let's do that. You know how to do that? Make our way back to the safe room. Which means we're back here. Means even if I go over here, that's that, that's that. Oh, thank you for the raid, Shiva. Let me give you a shout out. Hi, Raiders. 1 second. I'm typing. Hi. Thank you for the follow, Lonsol. Hi, I'm Autumn Fuchsia. I'm a sheep librarian VTuber. Right now we're playing Resident Evil 2, the remake. It's my first ever. We're doing really slow on puzzles. We're trying to make our way back to the storage chest right now because we have too many key items and we're running low on inventory space and it's annoying me. I hope you guys had a good stream. What were you streaming? Need to go. Yeah. You're fricked. What was your stream? Played the DLC for Fatal Frame, made it in a Blackwater, and ended up being way too short. I'm sorry, well, at least you got some stuff done. For now, I'll put this here because I don't know what it's for. These both restored to full health. I'm probably okay to put one away, right? And we have 2 slots. So we'll be able to grab the 2 things we want right now. Sorry, I moved in front of my mic. We'll be able to grab the 2 things I want right now. It is Purple Girl from Dead or Alive, and she flash ghosts to stun. Interesting. Okay, let's see. So we're going back up the stairs. Is our goal right now. With a flashlight, you mean? Oh, gotcha. Kind of like Five Nights at Freddy's if you think about it. Interesting. Now I go back up here. I'm gonna go back through here to get back here to get back here. As... No, we do want to go in here. Right? This takes me over to here. Okay. The door over here, right? Yeah. I'm stupid. And downstairs is the knife, and we can get the medallion. And we have 1 medallion left. I never played Five Nights at Freddy's. Heard it's fun. We'll grab the knife for now. And we'll grab the medallion. We'll come back for the gunpowder. Because we're right near where we're going to drop the medallion off. And we go back through... Oh, there's also a map in there. I didn't see that. Useful to grab. Upper floors map. Ooh. Lets me know it's connected. Interesting, interesting. Well, first we'll go back over toward the main hall. Put the new medallion in. And get this figured out. Nice. One more for his plan to supposedly work. Our homie is holding on pretty well. I feel like moving around up where we were on the second floor is our best bet. I'm gonna override our first save. I don't really need the save again, but I'm a scaredy cat. Got everything out of there. Save. Oh, I can go this way too. Interesting. Where does this one connect to? Gotcha. Now that's unlocked. I don't want to go that way just yet. Your ammo. Fuck. Looks like it was being held by a hand at some point. So we're looking for a hand? Does that mean, maybe she'll want it? The goddess statue. Lady statue. But for now, let's go back where we were. I'm very spazzy playing this right now, sorry. Gonna do the jack. I don't think we can do the valve of a dialogue. And that's a locked door, but we have a key, right? We have the key. Go back that way. I just grabbed the gunpowder. Hi, Farmyard Crow. And try our key. So our key does not work. Oh no, a zombie cop. It's okay, it's Leon, it's okay. He's hot. And we're having to get over that way, I think. I probably want to go up there and try to go on that. Let's see. Dun 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 dun. This is where we want to go, I think. Nothing in here. Okay. Last pamphlet. Oh, there is something. Another safe. And a green herb. I don't think I can combine it with my two I already have. We have the key. That's fine. And we can open this. A weapons locker key card. The shotgun. Okay. What else is in here? God damn it. I can discard key items that have a check mark, it said. That's exactly what we did. Give him the hand. Let me give him the book. Okay. So now, let's go use this weapon key card after we stop at the box. I think that's our best plan of action. I'm gonna do one more save, just in case anything goes wrong. Over save. And... oh, there's one here. Oh, I didn't know that. That would have been good to know. I can put this in here. Gonna have the shotgun in a moment. The key has served its purpose, but I'll put it in storage for now. At least according to what it told me. If it's red checkmarked, it means it served its purpose. What the game said, at least. We have 2 slots open. That should be good. Really quick resave. Now we make our way to the safety deposit room. Hi, anti-fashion and give a cheek squish. So we're gonna go to West Office, which means we're going to go up here. Down as far as we can tell. Didn't know I played DBD. I play a small bit. I don't play it well, but I've played a little bit. Use the weapon locker key. And we get a shotgun. Okay. We have a shotgun now. It's pretty cool. Where do we go now? We have this weird scepter. We still need another key in here. I'll go over here to the item box. Coming up around the right. What is the purpose in here? Ah, we got a jewel now. Okay. Another save for Leon Sex Kennedy. Okay. And... goddess statue still needs one more thing. Probably on the other side, right? Think. Because it looks like he drew them. Like he drew them vaguely there, and then he redrew here. He needs the red jewel, which we have. We have the jewel she was holding. We're supposed to be holding, right? Well, no, it's like the others, I guess, maybe. But just in case, we have a red jewel. I don't know where she is yet. And I guess we can go back towards exploring the right side if we're starting. We're gonna go back in the west office. And go over here. Open the door. I mean, there's the fuse box back over there. Oh no, what is this? Coils. Coils. You like making me cringe, don't you? At least you paid the 3K. Sorry for drawing on the desk while sleeping, Senpai. Oh no, I can be so clumsy sometimes. Now look at our project, it's soaked. However, I will be able to make it up to you, Senpai. There's your reading. Are you happy? We have to go up. And we have to go this way. And we can get the green herb. Right in here. Well, it's cool we have a shotgun now. We're still pretty limited on item space. Have everything in here besides the safe. But I don't really know how you figure out the safes. Without knowing whose desk it is or anything. Figure it out by sound? Yeah, they all sound the same. I mean, maybe you just pick it up somewhere. Thank you for the bit side. Never getting VIP because I read this out. You don't have to make me read it out. You're choosing to. I think I got everything in here. Seems like we got everything in here. You and your silly religion. In Civ 6. You never played this Benos map like the backhand? I knew a very, very small... I knew the opening room only because of my little bit of... Okay! Combine herb.
Claire! Hold on! I'll be right there!
Okay.
Leon, sex Kennedy. Uh oh, it's a fire.
Claire! It's so nice to see you.
How you doing?
We're gonna kiss.
Not
Yeah.
in nowhere.
I'm in one piece.
Herb time.
I'm guessing you
Babe.
have a key in one of those fancy pockets?
Unfortunately, no. But how are you doing?
You know, just surviving.
That's good.
Yeah.
Any luck with your brother?
No, not yet.
Claire, don't lose hope. I'm sure we're gonna find him. Damn it. You know what that means?
Yeah. Dinner time.
Oh.
Claire, I think you should go.
Don't worry about me, Leon. You take care of yourself.
Claire, you need to go. Now!
Okay, let's get through this. Both of us.
It might be electric. I don't know why she doesn't try to climb. Yeah.
Marvin, I've got a situation here. I'm surrounded by zombies. Marvin, do you copy? Marvin! Damn it. Jesus.
Oh, did Marvin die? Oh, god damn it. Not Marvin.
Still alive.
Oh. We still have a medallion to find. Just in case all the zombies are still on me. We save. I don't know where we go next, so. I missed some ammo and wooden boards in the fire escape. There's a lot of zombies that way, though. Unless they despawn, but I don't think they just despawn. I don't know how to open the safe. I don't know how to open the other safe. What's the thing? I can look at the levels. Second floor. Don't know how to open that safe. Haven't been up to the roof, haven't been to the chief's office, haven't been to the private collection. I don't know if we can. Haven't been in the armory and stuff, but that door's locked. We have the dial lock, and we have the valve in the shower room. We probably need that. I think that's our next lead. So it's going on the left half of the building. Going towards the dark room, which means west office to up. Does shower with you, smelly VTuber? Apparently, yeah. God damn it. I'm not dying. I'm just tired of this one. Okay, this doesn't die. Okay, we wasted a little bit of ammo. This way. Like, I don't know whose names these could be. Can I brute force it? I mean, I agree, but they're not gonna let me. Sadly, Leon's not willing to break locks. Apparently. Apparently he respects locks in an apocalypse. Which I think is kind of stupid. Just cheat. I don't cheat. Googling it feels dirty. We haven't Googled anything so far. Do we have any information on the others? Because we literally can't go through this right now. I don't think anything we have helps with this, or I have seen. Because we need like a wrench. And this is probably just something we don't need then. Means... I haven't died yet, actually. Surprisingly. We've had 0 deaths. West office. For every single combo until I kill it. Oh. I was thinking about that, not gonna lie. It's I don't like that I'm hearing zombies and I'm in here again. Keep had a rough start, but she's doing it. Thank you. I'm trying my best. I don't think we have anything for that valve yet, because we have the key we already used, some gunpowder, more healing stuff. I'm gonna put this one in here too, because we don't need it yet. Actually, I guess keeping 2 heals on me can't, right? We have boards, extra shotgun ammo, dual, that I think is for one of the puzzles we're gonna encounter. I don't know what the film's for. Commemorative, 421. Wait. BFS 421. Can someone write that down for me in case in chat? This is just standard difficulty. I just put it on basic. Thank you, Ross. I appreciate it. I have a knife. We have those. We need 1 more of the key things for the statue. 1 more of the little charms, medallions. We need the ladies. It's probably on this half of the building. Which means we probably need to go back up towards the fire escape and go that way. That's towards the roof. I don't think she'd be on the roof. We probably go there and then go down and then like make our way over there or something. I think of how this is gonna play out. We make our way over down there towards the boiler room. But I'm not that much of a gamer. We both know that, Buyer. I guess I go back up to the second floor. Unless could go back here and try this one more time. Could try I don't think VFS was on it though. But it might be. We still need to find a way to use the jack. He does not have cat ears. He's not modded. I'm sorry. He's basic. He's baby boy. And we still have the fuse box to do. And we still need a fuse for that. We still need to get in the east office. So our best bet, I guess. Probably back up to the second floor. And I guess going back towards the right side where we saw this crazy thing outside, then the helicopter crashed. Claire and Leon gave each other the fuck me eyes, and then explosion. Buy a soda. No. Yeah, we went up towards the roof, went up towards the fire escape to go down to the courtyard to see Claire. And the helicopter exploded behind us, and they were giving each other fuck me eyes. No soda, wow, what a poo-poo. Okay.
Do this.
Have I been in here? I've been in there already. And that's closed off. We're only down to 5 shots here. Buying. Grab. Cutting tool. What are we gonna use this for? What do we have to cut? I have to think. Cutting through chains. Okay, which door had a chain? The locked door on the left side. Oh, or this door right here too. That works too.
Just
Leon. Come on, bro. He is not convincing me he's very good at his job. Another knife. Our knife's back. Okay. Now we're back over here from earlier. Press room we already were in. There might be more in here. That takes us towards the breaker box. We don't have the breaker for you. So, we just go towards the chain door over here. Hey, Herb. My knife back. There was a lot in here. Flash grenade. Don't have room. Well. You done. You done. I can't use it yet. It was annoying. Why can't I just combine it? Okay, green herb. You're getting used. Sorry, green herb. You know if a knife breaks, I don't use it too much. I don't care. The valve. Okay, we're getting rid of our knife. Sorry, knife. This is more important. Anything else in here? Gunpowder. There's way too much shit. Resident Evil. Word. Gunpowder. Heading back to the middle now. Which... an electrical part. It's the fuse box fuse. Ah, oh, fuck. Why can't I just, like, set it down? Why do I have to, like, destroy it? I'm gonna need this to open it. I don't think I have any combinations to do. Fuck it. Goodbye, high-grade gunpowder. Doesn't this have some implications, though? I didn't have room and I had to get back here. Do I even need this jewel right now? I mean, I really need one health, I guess. Yes. This inventory management's driving me insane, so we have to go back over here. We'll go back to the second floor to get to that. So, I know, but I needed to swap around, and that was the only way to get back in easily. I couldn't get in easily. I would have had to walk the whole way around. I needed to turn on the breaker to open that door. I didn't want to run around the entire place again. So we have the valve over here. We have that VFS from earlier. We can maybe try in the dialogue. You dare get back up, zombies. And this takes me right over to West Storage. Not what I need, though. I don't think. Not just a door down here? I thought there was. There's not. So I'll just go the annoying long way on the ground floor then. Back down. Dead by daylight, dead by daylight. Time to loop the killer. Hee hee. Me playing Dead by Daylight would drive you guys crazy. I'm like not... I'm not the worst, but I am not good at all in any means, ever. So... Wait, no, if I'm needing to get there, where's our way up? There. Okay. You carry. See, go this way. I'm a menace when I play in the sense that the usual goal of my build, because I like Kate. She's my favorite. She's my only prestige survivor. My usual goal is to make the killer mad. Okay, I play like... I like her because of all of her stupid don't pick me up perks. VFS or something? That doesn't work here. VFA, I think it was. No, she has like 1 or 2 of buck around and stuff. Nothing directly in here. I played it on stream with the other Autumn at a point. Okay, he's dead. And powder. Guess I'll pick this up. More shotgun shells. The other Autumn, the true Autumn. It's a liquor! Oh, I don't have a knife, do I? Oh, I do. I knew these guys were coming out. Okay. Those guys are hot, by the way. I won't expand on that one. It's you and your boyin. What's you and your boyin? Has to be info in here. Okay, we got can I combine this? Makes shotgun shells. Another concussion grenade. Yeah, I did say they're hot. I have like a USB stick. I don't have the account. Need the pop-up? Need a USB. First aid spray. We'll take another one. Oh, lightning hawk. I don't know what that means, but it sounds pretty useful. PC we can't really access. I guess we leave and we go check the other room. What's wrong, Pyre? What? They are. It's not my fault. There's a lot of blood in here. I don't have the key. Unlock this door. Now I have that way open. It's good. We do have to get on the right side now. Okay. Go shower, touch grass, and find God. I want to. Thank you for the bonk. It's not my fault. Blame all the stuff I read growing up. We can take this out. We can combine these. Destroy this. A commemorative film. We have the gunpowder, we have a key. We already used the key for everything. I'm only doing them to reorder it to look nicer. Do this. I just kind of like this ordering better. I have to go to the bathroom again. That liquor, like, really jump scared me. And it made me have to pee. So... I'll be right back. Don't leave. I'll be quick. BRB, BRB, BRB. Listen. It's true. You can hate me for being right, but I'm right. At least Pyre wasn't here for my 20 minutes with the little personal safe. But I don't know where we go next, because I think there's another bolted door, right? Chain door over there. Okay, so we go to operations room. Okay. That's not too bad. I'm wrong. That's not nice.
Ah, shit! Jesus. Son of a bitch. Fuck! What the?
Let's just keep going. Autumn? Are we okay? 1 second. My tracking was being weird, sorry. If ever wrong, you're wrong, you know you're- I'm not wrong. It's not my fault, it's the truth. Electronic gadget, so this is for the C4. And I can go to the records room. Yeah, unlock this. Our ammo situation is not very good. Now we need to go back up to the second floor and do the boom boom, which was on this side. It was somewhere. Yeah, 3rd floor, left side. Okay. Not as much of the truth as Charizard being mid, my truths are lies. No. I'm right. Autumn. Oh, is it? Is she freezing? It's really hot. Oh, my thing is overheating. 1 second. I forgot I unplugged that. Uno momento. Okay, my little cooling thing isn't working too well. Yeah, them. Because it's not gonna produce like anything. So what if I don't have a USB plug, do I? No, I guess it's just letting that go. It's doing nothing. Okay, back up. Is it back up? 1 second. VTube Studio. Hold. My game crashed. God dang it. Oh, that's also happening. Okay, there's a lot messing up. Test. Awawa. Okay, everything's breaking. 1 second. Relaunching VTube Studio. Doing that. So, my iPhone's overheated. My little thing I usually use. My usual USB. I don't know why I put it. Let me retry opening VTube Studio. I'm sorry. It's really unexpected. For now, you guys just have the void. Wawa. Beep boop beep. Yeah, no, it's desyncing. Okay. Well, it can just overheat. We'll just play through the heat. It's fine. One, two. No, it is desyncing in general now. Okay, everything's being a butt, so I guess I'm gonna prep and raid out. I'm getting mad. I'm gonna raid Ramea. She's really cool. She's debuting a new model tonight. Her Chibi Day model. I'm really annoyed that my thing isn't working. And our game crashed. I don't know if it saved what we wanted, but hopefully. I'm gonna send us over in a second. It's a little early, I'm sorry. But if everything's breaking, I don't want to sit here and do tech support on stream. I'm gonna prep out a raid message. Feel free to copy pasta. It's a follower emote so everyone can do it. I'm gonna send us over to her stream. She's really nice and chill. Yeah, I'm gonna send us over.